everyone doing? Okay. Sorry, I'm taking a toke of some good weed right now, real quick. Hey, listen to this. Show your soul, show your mind, show it to me all the time. Alright, let's get started. Alright, today's video, believe it or not, this is my third attempt. The first one I did, it lasted 22 minutes, and when I went to go check to see what it sounded like, yeah, no, there was no sound. To see what it looked like, there was no sound on it. Oh wow. Okay, so I'm gonna make 2 videos today. This one is gonna be a fast one, and the only reason why I'm making this is because I have a lot of friends, family, and loved ones. Some of them who like don't comprehend the globe part. They're like, "How is globe part of globalization?" They're like, "It's not the same thing. The globe is the globe, and globalization is something different." Oh, excuse me. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go ahead and look into that real quick, so I could put a nail on the coffin to this whole question that everyone keeps asking. Okay, so globalization, we're going to start again with the origin. We always go back to the origin. If you've been following my my videos, by the way, thank you for tuning in and watching these videos and gaining this knowledge so you could contemplate it, you know, and move it forward. You move it to others if you see any insight into it. So yeah, thank you for tuning in and paying attention to this information that I'm sharing with everyone. So yeah, if you've been watching the videos, you've known that I keep explaining is when you're going to go research something, it's best to always start at the origin and the source. Do not care about what other people are trying to tell you. Do not waste time trying to find out misinterpretations. Go straight to the source yourself. Don't, like, oh yeah, this person said this or that person said that. Neil deGrasse Tyson said this about Isaac Newton. I could easily like point out so much that he has said that is wrong about Isaac Newton. It's like he probably doesn't even know the fool who Isaac Newton is. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So going to the source, we're gonna go to the source of globalization, the origin. Okay. So we have right here, globalization is a historical process that began with the first movement of people out of Africa into other parts of the world. Traveling short or long distances, migrants, merchants, and others have delivered their ideas, customs, and products to new lands. Now this comes from global.yale.edu. Now, what they're talking about right there is the Canaanites. That's what they're known as in the Bible. They're also known in historical documents, historical books, as the Phoenicians, and there's a couple other names that they go by. But basically, it's the same people. They really don't have a name because during hold on, the tamale guy is passing by. It's really loud. That's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, so where were we? Okay, so yeah, the Phoenicians, right? So the Phoenicians, they existed before the alphabet. Around their time is when the alphabet started forming and the people started using it, and so because of that, because they changed from one form of communicating into another. So phonetics was invented, and the alphabet, which is totally a phonetic system, where you letters and words and all that deal with sounds. It all has to do with pronunciation and whatnot. So because of the fact that a whole new language was a whole different form of communicating was formed, the alphabet, the Phoenicians actually collapsed, and they collapsed. So we don't really know their name, but we've named them Phoenicians mainly Phoenician because phonetics that is tied to that word. So because they're in the Bible they're known as the Canaanites. So but so going back to these guys used to travel, and if they were big on selling the color purple. I've already explained this on other videos. There was a special way of making the color purple back in those days to dye royal clothing and royal wear, and that the pharaohs and kings and oligarchies and all the kingdoms, they all loved that color purple, the royal purple, and it came from the Phoenicians. That's what they started first selling. And as they mastered the skill of seafaring across these massive oceans, bodies of water, they were they were traveling and moving around the color purple. And so along their way, people were like, okay, well, since you're headed that way, can you take this? Can you take that? And little by little, these guys became um, literally the first longshoremen that if you were to like look up the concept of a longshoreman corporation, these would be them. These guys were the first ones. That's known history in our time, in our era, in our age. Okay, so yeah, so they traveled around a lot, and as they started traveling, they started also delivering and transferring not just products and merchandise, but also information. They started taking information from one place to another. They're like, hey, I got a message for the king over there. I got a message for. So messengers are something really, really important back then, because of course there was no email. So there was no email and all that. So these guys were actually the ones that controlled the flow of information way back then. So globalization has been around since back then, and it continues to this day. We'll move on forward. Um, okay, we'll go to geography. We all basically know what geography is. If you look at imagery, you easily tie that geography is in fact tied to the globe. And if you just go on the basic search, geography is the study of physical features of the Earth and its atmosphere, and of human activity as it affects and is affected by these, including the distribution of populations and resources, land use, and industries. The nature of relative arrangement of places and physical features. So, as you can see just off there, the geography itself is like tied to globalization by its own definition. Like I said, we can go over the imagery, and if we look up geography, and of course we have National Geographic Society, and all of this, if you look up the imagery, it comes back to a globe. Now we have globalization and geography. There's scholarly articles, if we can see, spatializing globalization and geography of quality, globalization and geography. Another one, you could go to Google Scholar. So the introduction, globalization is one of the most widely discussed topics in geography and other social sciences. It refers to intensified geographical movements across national borders of commodities, people seeking employment, money and capital investment, knowledge, cultural values, and environmental pollutants. You gotta throw the pollutants in there. You gotta back up the SDG Media Compact and the SDG goals. The SDG goal timeline. You gotta go heavy on the environmental pollutants are causing global warming crap. So as we can go on, and this one right here, by the way, I read this a long time ago. The world is not flat. The intense. That's not actually about flat Earth versus globe Earth. It's more like they're saying the telecommunication runs flat, which makes sense because a frequency carries a specific sine wave, and if you try to bend that sine wave with curvature, you lose that frequency. That frequency has to maintain, okay, an even balance. And that sine wave is an even balance. So telecommunication runs flat. something that I've been saying the whole time. And so what they're trying to say with this is that because of telecommunications, people are able to communicate easily with one another, as opposed to like, oh, there's a curvature, or it's around the globe. It's all the other side on the other side of the globe, Earth. So that's what they're trying to talk about right there. But you could go ahead and look that up. We can easily see that globalization is connected to geography. Um, Beyond that, geography in the globe. Um, I know what we need to do. Okay. Globalization agenda. So there we have the 2030 agenda as the United Nations, as we can easily see. WeForum.org, A Brief History of Globalization, World Economic Forum. Globalization, the hidden agenda, so it's not hidden anymore. And so we can keep going on about how globalization is an agenda, and it is basically tied to the United Nations 2030. There's a PDF right there that you guys could download. Okay, and we already tied that globalization is geography. We also know that the toy globe is a fabrication. Let's go to that. Okay. You guys could look this up yourself on Google. The globe Earth is a fabrication. And if you go looking, you'll see that it is a fabrication. It's always been a fabrication. And I've already gone over the fact that why is this all important? Well, kingdoms and rulers and dictators and national leaders and all of this has to do with borderlines. Okay, it all has to do with territory and borderlines and imaginary lines that have been changed throughout history over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So the globe Earth has never been something accurate in those terms. Okay, it's a fabrication. You guys could look this up. Moving back to the model itself, the model, according to them, is an oblate spheroid, which is definitely not what you guys are playing with in your since you've been a child. So since you've been a child, they've been giving you a toy, a fabrication that came from globalization. It's a manufactured, fabricated toy. It's a model. It's something you purchase. It's merchandise. And if we go back to the definition of globalization, it's right there. Traveling short or long distances, migrants, merchants, and others have delivered their ideas, customs, and products to new lands. Okay, they're saying it right there. Merchants and others they're delivering and they're selling. It's all right. That's globalization. Okay, and we already seen. So as we can see right there, okay, so the oblate spheroid is what they say is the correct model. That's the word. That's the one that they claim is a model. Of course, that's not what the toy model looks like. The toy model definitely is not oblate. And we can go back and forth, and we'll see that the toy itself was. Here we go. The toy itself was merchandise. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, guys. All right. So the toy itself is fabricated merchandise, and as we see right here, that globalization began with merchants and them, you know, selling merchandise. So the toy globe itself, as we've already seen, the toy globe itself is a fabrication and does not match the oblate spheroid model which they claim is supposed to work. And then when you look up this oblate spheroid model, you don't find one. What you find, and you read up on it, you find cartoons and whatnot. You find all kinds of weird cartoons. When you go to the imagery, it's even worse. Okay? Nothing matches. Alright, nothing matches. So here's what I'm trying to say. Since you've been a child, okay? Since you've been a child, you have not really known where you are at. Is it the toy? Is it the toy globe, the perfectly round one? Is it this car? Is the CGI one right here? Is it this one over here? Oh look, there's a pear one. That's funny. Okay, you don't know where you're at. Since you've been a child, they've given you a toy and told you this is where you're at, and you've been running around with a toy that has been inaccurate the whole time, assuming that toy was actually a map. And we've already gone over this before, that it's the Mercator map. Okay? It's the Mercator map, which is used. Okay, look, the Mercator projection cylindrical map projection presented by geographer Charles Mercator 5069. It became the standard map projection for navigation. All right. They never used the globe to travel or to navigate. This is something that I've already explained as well. So since you've been a child in indoctrination inside the school, since you've been a child, they've given you a toy and told you that you were there, but you don't really know where you're at. You don't really know where you're at. I mean, you could sit there and look how it's been the imagery on how it's been fabricated. You don't know where you're at. Now, if you don't know where you're at and you believe you're somewhere that you've been told, then I can tell you what to do. Do you guys comprehend this? It's a simple concept. All right, simple concept. If I tell you you are here, and because you are here, okay, you are here, right? All right, you are right there. So in order for you to sustain living right here, here's what you need to do, okay? Because sooner or later you're gonna run out of air, you're gonna run out of food, you're gonna run out of space. Population is gonna keep booming. Like it's not sustainable. Blah blah blah. Okay, it's real simple. I could tie it in together real easily. Okay, and it's not me. Okay, it's not me, guys. Here we have UNUSA.org, United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. There's that cartoon up on the top, more CGI crap. There's a cartoon of the satellite. If you know who I am and you've been following me, you know that all of this came because I realized satellites were not, I didn't see no satellites in space. Matter of fact, I wanted to be a satellite installer. Okay? Not just a satellite dish installer. No. I wanted to move into like space command and park these birds in orbit, as they say it. That's what I wanted to do. That position does not exist. So we're gonna read it in focus. This is from them. Oh, by the way, if you don't know what the UNUSA is, let's go to the About Us. Roles and responsibilities. So the UNUSA works to help all countries, especially developing countries, access and leverage the benefits of space to accelerate sustainable development. We work toward this goal through a variety of activities that cover all aspects related to space, from space law to space applications. Okay? No, if you guys thought like, oh no, yeah, America's in space, and then oh well, Russia's in space too, and so is China. Like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Okay, they can't be. You know why? Because when you say that you are in America, you are within the borders of that sovereign nation. You are in a state. Okay? Once you leave that state, you are not in America. You can't go out and, according to the United Nations now, you can't go out and just claim free land that's in between international waters. That includes that whole international airspace. International airspace actually falls under the jurisdiction of international waters. You guys could look all that up. So let's back up now to the in focus. So space technology and its applications play an important role in supporting the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, established under the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This is part of the agenda. They are using this, and they said they are using the space crap in order to push this new agenda, this new world order agenda. Space applications provide innovative tools to improve global health care, and the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs helps all countries access this potential. Okay, there's a report, annual report. I suggest you guys take time to stop trolling and actually read some of this. Okay? But as we could clearly see, globalization, geography, globe is synonymous. Okay? If any of you want to try to debunk this stuff, or debunk this mainstream information from mainstream media that I've shown you guys, all right, then feel free. Look, you could look up all kinds of weird stuff. Who is the biggest globe Earth model manufacturer? Eartha. There's even the biggest globe. Eartha is the world's largest rotating and revolving globe. It's just ridiculous. No, they didn't show it. I was hoping we could see it. This is hilarious. Yeah, you guys could literally like look all this stuff up. I've made memes of this one right here. It's hilarious. I made a meme of this one right here. Okay, so this is globalization. Okay, the globe is a product of globalization. Not only is it a product, it is a prop. If you don't know what a prop is, that means it is a propaganda item. It's something, an object used for propaganda. It's a prop. Okay, you guys? It's a prop from and for globalization. It's a manufactured, fabricated object that is used to represent and symbolize the globe, the geography thereof, and the globalization and geopolitics within. That is one reason why I take this so serious, the geopolitics, or I get involved so much into it, or debate so much. So geopolitics, politics, especially international relations, as influenced by geographical factors. Do you guys comprehend that? Geographical factors influence internal relations, and that is the politics. Geopolitics. Read it backwards. Okay? What are the examples of geopolitics? Geopolitical examples may include trade agreements, war treaties, border or territorial acknowledgements, climate agreements, and more. Two recent examples are NAFTA and the Kyoto Protocol. There it is there, ladies and gentlemen. All right? That globe is used to trigger people and to make people believe so they could be told what to do. Because look, I didn't vote for this 2030 agenda. I didn't consent to this. I didn't say I was cool with any of this. Not you, not me, not your mom, not your dad, not your brothers or sisters and homies and cousins and nobody. None of us got a chance to vote for this shit. All right? I don't know these people. And I don't give a fuck about them. All right? I have no reason to believe them, no reason for moral, no reason to follow their agenda. I have no reason to give up my liberties. I have no reason to give up my rights. I have no reason to give up my freedom. All right? Straight the fuck up. It's that simple. All right? According to science, okay, that stupid toy globe is a prop. It's a stupid prop. All right? I don't believe in props. I believe in science. Matter of fact, I don't believe in science. I practice it. Do you guys even science, bro?